Hi, I'm James Hibberd, and thank you for joining us for The Hollywood Reporter presents a Q&A with the cast of 1923. It's so great to have so many of you from this epic show gathered virtually for a panel. So welcome, and we're just going to get started right away with the first question, and this is for everyone. What surprised you most about what it was like to make this show versus what you expected it to be like?
My big surprise was the size of it. I mean, I kind of expected an epic quality to it because, obviously seeing others of Taylor's shows, that's what you get. But on the camera, I didn't realize, it surprised me that the enormity of the cast and of the crew, and the technical side of it was pretty mind-blowing. That sort of took my breath away.
I think similarly for me was how real everything always was. We were always doing the stunts. We were in these very specific locations in Africa, working with the animals. And so, we were experiencing it all live time with our characters, which was really special. But I knew we'd be abroad, but I didn't quite realize how everything would really be right in front of our faces the whole time, which was really special. Very grateful for it.
Yeah, I guess it's pretty surprised with how graceful elephants can be. They're so massive, and they're actually quite they like move in slow motion. Fairly surprising. Even when they're sprinting at a full speed, they almost seem as if they're in slow motion. And in addition to that, yeah, I mean, kind of echoing what Julia said, I don't think I could have prepared mentally for just the scope and the scale of the thing, and yeah, it kind of takes you away, traveling to all those locations and shooting on 3 continents essentially. I didn't really know going into it that was going to be the scope of it, and how that translates to the score, just to the story, and then also just the scope of this story for every character in this. I mean, we had no idea going into it that it would span what they've set it up to span in these 16 episodes.
Going off of what everybody said, it felt really real because the locations that we used really felt frozen in time. Especially, I mean, I shot in Montana and everything was just so well done. Even when we were shooting outside, they had transformed the set to look like you were in the 1920s. And so I was shocked to see there wasn't a lot of post-production stuff that they had to change, at least from what I shot.
Yeah, 1,500 sheep meant 1,500 sheep on the mountain. And up a steep hill, man, you figure out a way to get up a real steep hill. No camera tricks in Taylor's world, which made it fun and easier, I think.
No CG sheep. Good.
That's
good
right.
Call.
Real sheep.
Taylor also famously doesn't do rewrites or have much improvisation. But was there anything that you sort of saw on the page that you push back on, in terms of your character or said or did? You thought, you know what? This might be better if. Was there anything that you sort of fought for along the way that any of you can recall?
Absolutely not. I found it amazing the way the scenes came, just the perfect length. You never felt anything was overwritten, even though sometimes people would go off on long, have long speeches. But whenever that happened, there was a reason for it. But the dialogue was always very taut, very tight. And I also found that you could look on the surface of the scene and say, okay, this is happening. And then I don't know what my fellow actors found this, but when I started playing the scenes, I went, oh no, there's only 3 lines here, 3 words here, but those little 3 words have, have that, have a sort of ripple effect, either backwards for your relationship in the past or forwards for what's happening, going to happen. So I was amazed by the sort of perfection of the scenes when they arrived. I thought that it was incredible.
Yeah, I think everything is so intentional in the scripts. And Taylor once, when we were in Africa, called us and said, every single scene, you have to look at every scene and imagine that it could be the most important scene of the episode, even if it's just you walking from point A to point B. You know, everything has meaning. And so I didn't find myself fighting back on anything. If anything, I would just, in the action scenes, I would want to do more. So I'd always be like, please, to our director, I'd be like, I just feel like she's so capable and I just want her to swim on her own, you know, things like that. But never anything that's scripted, because, you know, the scenes are really, they are very, very intentional, and they are, I would use the word perfect, like Helen.
I know, I think we all experience this. Sometimes you get a weird sentence construction. You went, why does it go like that? Because it's not the obvious or the straightforward way to say something. But I always found when there was that sort of weird maybe upside down sentence construction, there was always a really good reason for it. And you could find, and it was really important to do it. I've always thought exactly as it was written, and not do that line the easy way. Do you know what I mean? Because you got so much more richness out of it when you did. You gave it exactly the construction that Taylor gave it. Did the rest of you experience that?
Yeah, there's definitely a musicality to the words that he chooses and why he chooses those words and where he puts them. There's a rhythm and there's a musicality. I think each character has that on the page, and it helps with the vibe and the tone of that voice and that inflection. And I don't know, at least I find that, but I'm kind of like that with everything. But yeah, there's a rhythm. There's a rhythm to the way these characters speak and why they speak the way they speak.
A favorite guessing game among fans is to try and predict which of the two couples will be the direct ancestors of John Dutton on Yellowstone. Since you presumably don't know, what are the current theories among the cast? When you guys are sitting around together, what is it that you guys think?
I think we talked about this a lot more in the beginning, and now we all kind of have reached a standstill, and we're just waiting to find out from Taylor. Yeah, I have no idea. I have theories, but I am scared to share them.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's either one or two, you know what I mean? So it's flip a coin.
I'm blindly speculating to guess. I've tried guessing and haven't got anywhere yet, still waiting.
Yeah.
I think we all kind of assumed that we would find out as well. So when we first were talking about it, it felt like, okay, we're going to find out in a few weeks. And now it's been how many months since we shot? Yeah.
I think it's exciting also for us to like wait for the scripts. I think all of us are kind of geeks about the episodes as we get them. And so reading every script as they come is so exciting for us. And we're all like either together or we're on a group chat being like, oh my gosh. And so I think, you know, and also you never know what could happen in these scripts. It's very much like a Game of Thrones, you know? So even all of season one, it was confirmed I wasn't gonna die in season one, but I would still always be like, well, you never know, you know? And like, so we're all just like, I don't know, I think excited to watch the story unfold together as we get the scripts, kind of like the fans as they watch the show.
Our theories are usually 99% wrong. Like we'll have a theory and we'll get something a week later and be like, okay, well, we were completely off. So you really just don't know. And we just sit like little children waiting to get like our candy or something.
Yeah, I was wondering if there was any chance of maybe Taylor himself doesn't know, because he's so kind of into kind of pivoting and going where a story takes him, that I wonder if there's any chance that he's like, well, I think it's, you know, this one, but it might actually end up being this one. You know, if you were ever completely honest about that, I wonder.
This is the hard part of guessing. You might be honest.
Yeah.
I think so. I think he's kind of riding the lightning creatively, I think, and he'll you know, I don't know what I don't think he consults many people in terms of what he's going to do with something. He just kind of gets it and fucking puts it out there, and yeah, he could probably switch it last minute. You know, I think that's how he kind of rolls creatively.
Now that some time has passed since the show aired, have any of you gotten any reactions that you didn't expect, either along the way or since there? Did any of the fan reactions surprise you?
I just think it surprised how big of a reaction, like how much everyone loves the show. I mean, I know it's incredible. I love the show, but just seeing it real time and seeing the fan base continue to grow each day, that's still so like shocking because it's so much love. And I think all of us pour so much of ourselves into our characters and into what we do as human beings and our art. So that will never not get old. You know what I'm saying? Like just seeing all this love continuously just pour.
Did anyone else get a reaction other than being, you know, positive and people loving the show, but anything to something specific you did or a specific choice that was made along the way that you're like, oh, I didn't expect that to go over like that?
Actually, there's been a couple of memes that have been made out of some of my scenes that have been
really?
cool.
Like
the scene with the guy selling us the electricity.
yes, I love that.
That is everywhere. I see it everywhere, and people really seem to love the meaning behind that. And I think that's so cool how people connect with that. And that's a part of Taylor's genius writing, right? Like balancing that fine line where we're in 1923, but it really does correlate to a lot of stuff in 2023, 100 years later.
Aminah, you know, what reaction did you get from the Indigenous community? I know that was very important to you in terms of, you know, in terms of your storyline and representing that community. What sort of feedback did you get afterwards?
I think for me, my biggest thing, I really wanted to honor, you know, Crow Nation, Apasalaga Nation, and their reaction was really positive with the language and everything. And I was scared. I was chuckling in my boots. I was so scared. I was just like, if I don't get this language right, I don't know what I'm going to do. But seeing that reaction being so positive and hearing them say that we all did really well with the language was beautiful. And I think as a whole, Indigenous communities are taking it really well. And I think it's opening up a lot of conversations for even like the youth right now, for all Indigenous communities, because, you know, it's deep-rooted traumas, and it can sometimes be very hard to talk about that as an elder, as someone who's went through it. And I've gotten feedback that it's opened that space to tell their children and to speak on it more. And that's all I want to do. You know, like that's why I do it. That's why I'm here, to open up conversations. And so it's been good so far.
Do you think or hope she'll continue to have her own sort of standalone story, or would you want her to sort of come together with the rest of the cast?
Of course, I want Tiona to be there with every single person here. Like, I love them. I pray.
With us. We are so, you know, it's like, oh, I want to see with that girl. It's got to happen. I really hope. Yeah, we're longing to kind of all get together, actually. You know, we had a great bonding a period at the top of the film before we started shooting, you know, where the guys went off to cowboy camp and I did my buggy learning, and it was how long was it for, guys? I can't remember now. Was it like 2 weeks or something? Was it longer?
It was
pretty long.
3 weeks.
I think it was about 2 or 3 weeks, and then we kind of hung around before leaving for Africa, and then
you guys stayed around. But it was a really important time, because obviously, you know, we came from completely different communities and different you know, spaces in the world, and then here we all were together in Montana in that incredibly seedy bar, you know, it was just a great moment of making a community, making an actors company, if you like. So even if, you know, we were in separate scenes and we didn't really see each other then for the rest of the shoot, we'd made that connection and that community. So even though we weren't in the scenes, we were always kind of supporting and you know, cheering people on and you know, wondering about what's happening. So I think that was a very important time. Some
of your storylines never overlap. What was it like, you know, for those of you who, you know, to watch the episodes, you know, as a viewer, to see it all come together and see the storylines you weren't involved in? It was amazing. It was amazing. I mean, to see the stuff was like incredible.
absolutely incredible. I mean, beautiful to look at, and so dramatic, so sort of heart in your mouth kind of stuff. So that I mean, obviously we'd read it, but sort of reading it and seeing it in visceral and beautifully, so beautifully realized on the screen was fantastic. And then again, the devastation and the pain of watching Aminah's story is so painful. But again, brilliantly well done.
Yeah, even filming it, I mean, reading the script, I knew it was going to happen, but I was so interested when I was watching it about like, where is this going to go? And then I found it interesting too, because normally when I watch something that breaks up different storylines, or even read a book that every chapter it switches, I'm so frustrated because I get so invested into the one that I'm watching, and then I don't want it to switch over. But I was so excited to see what happened that I was ready to switch over to the next storyline once it came. So that's, I think, partly due to Taylor, or all due to Taylor's writing, and then also all of you wonderful actors. I just wanted to watch all the time.
Yeah, I mean, like Helen said, we did really bond at the beginning at Cowboy Camp, and I was so sad to leave everyone when we left, because I was just so, and we were around when they began filming in Montana, and so sometimes we'd sneak onto set to see them. And Helen showed us around the Dutton Lodge on the first day of filming, and it was just, I'm just so proud of all of my friends, really, and so privileged to be able to sit with your friends and watch them do what they do best. And it's such an epic story, and you kind of forget months later what the other pieces of the puzzle are. And so getting to see the Dutton Ranch and everyone on those horses, and I mean, it's just such an epic, and I just feel really, really proud of everyone, and so grateful to know all of them on a personal level when I'm watching their work.
One person who is not here today is, of course, Harrison Ford. So who has a good Harrison Ford story? And you don't have to worry, because we all know that one thing he's not going to be doing today is sitting around watching a live stream.
You might sneak a peek. I mean, oh God, I love my husband. I love both my husbands. I love my Montana husband, and I love my real husband. So he's absolutely fantastic to work with. He's incredibly professional, knowledgeable about, so knowledgeable about what we're doing. But I don't know, stories. Do any of you guys have sort of fun? You guys were off on the
you in there. That keep holding out on us.
I got a Harrison story. If you like.
There we go.
Go for it.
I think we were right. I think we're downtown riding horses, and they were like, Brian, you need to stay next to Harrison. I'm like, I can't. He's going too fast. So they're like, can you ask him to slow down? So I said, Harrison, would you mind slowing down? He's like, why? And I'm like, because they asked me. He said, okay. And as soon as they called cut, he kicked his horse. I mean, he was flying down the street. And so the seat, we never got it. I just am always behind him trying to keep up. But it's hilarious. And Darren was there. It's just, that's how he is. He's like, yeah, I got it. And then he just does things.
That's what he wants to do anyway.
Yeah. He's just like, these horses are meant to go fast.
Well, it was at one point a Taylor note as well, wasn't it? I never want to see a horse walking. Maybe Harrison was just, listening to Taylor's note.
Yeah, he's good at riding horses, Harrison. It was icy and snowing and all kinds of stuff. It's just, we had a blast. I mean, it was such a fun time riding horses with Harrison Ford.
So 1923 is originally going to be a limited series, and then found out that it's going to be rolling into a second season. Are you basically hearing that it's going to end with the second season, or could it gone even further than that?
No, it's just it's bookended. It's still limited, but it's, I mean, we kind of, but I think of it as it's one piece. It's just, there's just a split in the middle, but it's all one piece. It will conclude. At the end of that. Yeah.
I mean, I like things to have a beginning, a middle, and an end, you know.
Mhm.
Endings are always very difficult. Shakespeare could never do endings. So I love it when you have the satisfaction of, you know, the whole journey, and then it's over. Then when it sort of dribbles on and on.
And finally, for each of you, since you don't know what's going to happen to your characters, we're free to have a little fun and ask, what is your hope for your character in the second season? You know, what do you hope they get to do, or how they end up?
Well, I tell you, I'm sick of writing letters, so I really want Brandon to come home. I'm telling you right now, Brandon,
Yeah.
come home.
Yeah.
I'm just don't expect any more letters from me. It's
I don't
over.
want, I don't want any more letters. Probably wouldn't read them anyway. It took them 6 years to read the first one. I think no, I mean personally, I just love to be back and on a horse and shooting a gun, and just the little kid in me is dying to do that. And that's just me personally, but I as the character, I would love to be with Aminah. I would love to see that, you know, something intersect there. I would love to, you know, just be with Jack and Zane and Caleb Martin, and just I'd love to be just a band of horse ride and get cowboys, you know. I want to see that happen, and I'd love to have scenes with Cara and Jacob, and yeah, it's so much. I imagine he'll get Spencer back pretty quick. I mean, I feel like he has to. It's like, you know, come on, okay, just get you know.
Yet you got to do your Paris bit first, haven't you?
Who knows? You know, he's like, yo, you're in Iceland.
You know, you've got to go and meet Max Ernst in Paris.
Yeah, you're like, hear me out. You're a deep sea fisherman. You're no, yeah. I think we'll be back soon.
I think for myself, I just want Tiona to be able to be a child and to experience what it feels like to be a child, and what it feels like to be surrounded by love, you know, that deep ultimate love, and to remember who she is. I mean, she always does remember. Ultimately, that's why she had the strength to go. But I just want to see her just be like running in the woods, you know, and like playing, like, and finding what that feels like to her, you know, what does she desire, you know, like that's what I want for Tiona. And I want Tiona to also just, you know, meet the Duttons. I think that'll be incredible. I want a scene with all my best friends here, but we'll see.
I would love to see Elizabeth find a purpose that might not be her family exactly, because that's been her, I mean, her whole driving force the entire first season is her love story and wanting to be a mother. And I think there's so much more strength to Elizabeth than what we've been able to see so far. So I think in the second season, see her get outside, get on a horse, have some grit to her. I really hope that's written in there.
I hope I get to pop Timothy Dalton in the face. Maybe shoot him on his horse.
Shoot him.
Avenge Yellowstone, have a good time. The good guys will win, and me and my girl will run our way happily ever after. That's Jack's way.
Yeah. I guess, well, I would like to get home as well. I would love for Alex to make it to the ranch and meet the family. But I'm really excited to hopefully watch her claw her way there. And I hope we get to see some of her own strength come out now that she's on her own. And I want to meet the Dutton women, really. I think that would be a lot of fun, really powerful. So, and of course, I want to meet Tiona. We all want to meet Tiona. I just want to be with everyone.
I know her father, actually.
Oh,
Yeah.
On the show.
True. Lucky duck.
Yeah, great guy, great actor. Wow. Yeah, like Brandon said, and Darren, I have some unfinished business at this point. I'd like to ride horses with these guys and finish it. And yeah, just kill a lot of people. And
Yeah, man, just pretty simple.
Yeah, pretty simple.
On a
Just,
horse, shooting a gun, killing some
yeah.
bad guys, you know.
Sick of being a nice guy here. It's time to
Yeah.
flip. That's what I love about a second season is to flip the character, you know, and see a whole nother dimension. So, right, you know, hopefully we have the opportunity to do that, and that's honestly what I'd like to do is do that.
You know, in the last seconds we have here, I'm curious: is anyone convinced their character is not going to survive?
I wouldn't.
You want to live in. No, just kidding. No, yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
Especially if the whole thing comes to an end, maybe. I mean, I don't know. No, I don't know. No idea. I'm the foggiest.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like anyone's up for grabs, and we could all be dead, or you know, it could just be one of us still alive. I mean, knowing Taylor, there's going to be some tragedy for sure. It's just a case of who it is, and I mean, it's you really don't know. You really have no idea. You could get a script for episode 6 and be like, God damn.
Yeah,
I want to keep living. So I don't know. You know, I don't know. Who knows?
Well, thank you, everyone. And thank you for joining us for the Hollywood Reporter Presents screening series.